Hi everyone, my name is Jodi Lyons and I'm your host for Your Need to Know. Today I'm thrilled to be here with Lucas Braga of Honest Weight Loss.
Thank you.
And so I'm glad you're here, Lucas. I think our timing is perfect. Today what we're going to talk about is medical weight loss versus diets, myths, and what people really need to know. It's post-holiday season and everybody's looking at themselves after way too many holiday parties. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jodi. It really is probably the hottest topic during the holiday seasons for New Year's resolutioners. And what is the difference between medical weight loss and the diet trends?
Exactly.
Right?
So what I'd love to ask first is, there's all those diets. I'm getting millions of emails even while we're sitting here with lose 20 pounds miraculously. We all know that is, bunk. So tell me what you're doing. What's medical weight loss?
So Honest, actually, when you hear medical weight loss, a lot of things come to mind, right? You have your prescription medications, you can have bariatric surgery, and then there's all kinds of other meal replacement shakes or protein bars that kind of get associated with medical weight loss. What Honest does is we actually challenge this paradigm that's been accepted for so long of you lose your weight and then you gain it back and then you have to either get
yo-yo dieting.
Precisely, yeah. So what Honest does is we bring a multidisciplinary team of highly trained medical clinicians into the patient's homes, and we really try to give them a full picture approach to weight loss. So we bring together the medical piece, the behavior piece, the nutritional, but also the physical activity. We bring it to their homes in a discreet and convenient environment.
So I think that's great. So first of all, it's in somebody's home, so it's private.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's a team approach. And while I hate to say it this way, I bet there's no miracle cure, right?
There's never a miracle cure, but that's kind of the beauty of it because we get to work with our patients very closely and help them really create this environment in their homes that's conducive to their long-term success. A lot of our patients have tried so many different things in the past, whether it be, counting calories or even taking one of the FDA-approved weight loss medications. And they're frustrated. They've tried all kinds of different things, and we really offer an alternative to that. We really answer that question of how do I lose this weight when I don't have the time to go to a gym 6 times a week or to take time off from work to meet with a registered dietitian or to go meet with my primary care provider. A lot of times the providers themselves don't have the opportunity to have enough face time with the patients to pass that knowledge on to them.
Sure, and an average 11 to 15 minute visit, that doesn't work.
Right.
So can we start with first things first? So let's say we were going into the home of a potential patient. What's the first thing your team does?
So the first thing we do is to really assess whether they're ready for the program from a behavior, mental, and also physical standpoint. So unless they're referred to us directly by their primary care provider who works very closely with them, we actually do a full medical assessment. One of our obesity trained nurse practitioners goes in and it actually takes about 2 hours to do, where they really gather their medical history. We talk about the current medications that they're on. Maybe we talk about their previous experiences with diets and weight loss, whether it's medical or commercial programs. And that's really where it all starts, is getting this full picture of the patient and really taking the time to learn about them, to learn about what are maybe their triggers, what are their challenges, what will be the biggest barriers for them. And in that way, we can start to address these limitations that they may have in terms of achieving their goal.
Okay, so it's not all about food. I'm fascinated that the first thing you did not say was, we go into the house, open up their cabinets, and throw out everything they like to eat. So the first thing is an assessment.
Correct.
And then the second thing is, we've all seen this with the TV shows where the team goes into a house and they take a garbage bag and they throw out all the food in the house and leave somebody with, 4 carrot sticks and an apple. So what do you guys do that's different? So now you've done the assessment, you know who the person is, what next?
And actually, thank you for using that example because that highlights everything that we don't do. The first step is really to meet the patient where they're at. We believe in this concept of bioindividuality, where each person is a different person from both physiological and environmental views, right? And in that way, we can address ways that our program will really affect that person as best as possible. So it's a program that's customized for them. And with the whole pantry thing, so what we do is we take the time to learn what foods they enjoy to eat, and then start working towards some healthier alternatives to maybe deal with that. Because the problem with food is that you can't cut it out. We need food to survive. Exactly. We need food to survive. So we have to, instead of just tell them from kind of a judgmental standpoint of you shouldn't be eating this, you shouldn't be eating that, we assess what things they actually do enjoy to eat. And then from there, we help them find alternatives, maybe find triggers that are causing them to either overeat or eat because they're dealing with some kind of stress. Maybe food is a coping mechanism. There's all kinds of different behavioral aspects that go behind overeating and being overweight. It's not just a food thing.
So let's talk about that for a second. You've used the word behavioral, and I know your team has psychologists and et cetera on it. So tell me a little bit more about the behavioral aspects of eating. So it's not just opening a bag of Fritos because and no offense to Fritos, we know I like them. It's not just opening the bag of food, it's what's behind opening the bag of food?
It's so much deeper than that. Really, it all starts, for our program especially, the behavior piece is really the fundamental building block from which everything stems from. And we first identified the behaviors that are causing them to overeat. Because a lot of times we're not eating Fritos or a Happy Meal or something like that because we're hungry. We're eating it either because it's easy or because it's addressing some kind of need that we have. And a lot of times we've been doing this, we've had this behavior for so long that it's not even something that it's rational or that we're actively doing. It's just the way we live our lives. And that's why going into the patient's homes is so empowering for us, because we can assess that environment and really identify how can we make this into an environment that is conducive to supporting you and your journey. Because weight loss is not a miracle thing, right? 30 pounds in a week, kind of. It's a lifestyle change, and lifestyle changes are extremely daunting for people to do. So,
well, I think you're preaching to the choir here. So I think it's great, particularly when all the Facebook ads are coming up with swallow this herb, eat this, don't eat that, and you're going to lose 30 pounds in 1 week. But you brought up something about what I would call the patient ecosystem. I mean, I do a lot of work with people in their own homes where they can't get out. And we always say that the primary patient is usually maybe 1/10 of the discussion because there's a network, there's support. So what do you do when the person doesn't live alone and maybe the other people in the family don't want to change the way they're eating?
And unfortunately, the truth is that that's very common. A lot of times families don't have one or two healthy people and the rest of them are unhealthy. They're typically unhealthy together or healthy together.
Right, there's an unhealthy grouping or partnership.
Exactly, and it can be threatening for the others to see someone want to make these changes. So a lot of what we do is work with the whole family. So the behavior therapists are not only working with the patient, they're also working with the spouse, maybe with the parents or the children as well. And alongside the behavior therapists, you have the nutritionists who are actually teaching the patient recipes that are, will help their cause, so to speak, that the children will maybe like, that the spouse will like, and that the patients themselves will like. So it's not about eating foods, chicken and broccoli every day.
Right.
That's not what we do. We really help them incorporate this diet plan, if you want to call it that, into their normal lifestyle. We make a program that fits into their lives. They don't have to change their lives to fit our approach.
So nobody is saying that at 7 a.m. you must eat
Definitely
whatever
not.
And then, okay.
I hope not, anyway. We're not.
Perfect. So let's talk for a brief minute about exercise. So we all know we're supposed to do it. I think very few of us actually do it as much as we are supposed to.
Right.
What do you do about bringing exercise into the home? How do you make it part of somebody's lifestyle where it doesn't seem onerous to them?
So you actually bring up a really good point that we don't exercise enough, and that's not necessarily because we just don't exercise enough. We have very severe time limitations nowadays, especially with careers, kids, family, especially during the holiday season. It's incredibly hard to go to the gym 6 times a week. You need a gym membership, you need to pay a personal trainer, and it can be very intimidating to go to a gym, especially when you're overweight, you have no experience in that kind of atmosphere.
Right.
So what we do is we go beyond just the exercise. We help our patients do what we call just physical activities. It's not exercise, it's not boot camp style, lunges and burpees and stuff. We find activities that they enjoy to do, And then we help them get back to doing these activities that maybe now they're in pain, they have knee or hip pain, and they can't do as easily, or they can't do for extended periods of time. So we work with them to get them back to activities that they enjoy, that they have an intrinsic connection with, rather than telling them what to do. And that's a big piece of our program in general, is that we never tell the patients what to do. We work with them on what they already do and start to introduce small changes and gradual changes so that it really becomes ingrained in their lifestyle, in their day-to-day lives.
So do gradual changes make a difference? And I'll give you an example. So I have clients who may never leave their house.
Right.
They may not even actually walk all the way to a bathroom, and all the way could be 20 feet.
Right.
So if you had somebody who's pretty much taken to their bed, or as opposed to physically completely bedridden, I understand that. What do you start with them? I mean, do you start with having somebody come into the house and helping them do bed exercises and then mobility after that, or what happens?
That will definitely be something that we do, but there's a step that would take place before that, and that's really the medical piece.
Okay.
Right? We have to see where this patient is medically. Are they even well enough to do bed exercises, or are they, diabetic? Do they need urgent medical attention? A lot of times the patients that have, taken to their home, maybe not necessarily being homebound or bed-bound, but they've stopped having frequent follow-ups with their primary care physicians, their endocrinologists. So we have to assess where they are, because sometimes the exercising piece is kind of a goal. Eventually we'll get to that.
So the mobility is a goal.
Exactly. And to them, doing the little things first, right? So we'll get them to walk with more ease, maybe be to and from the restroom or the kitchen, whatever, the living room, whatever it may be, to get them to move a little bit more again. Because that really encompasses what's called the cycle of sedentary behavior, right? Chronic sedentary behavior, where patients that are overweight typically have tremendous amounts of pain, ankle pain, knee pain, hip pain, lower back.
And it hurts, so they don't want to exercise, so they
exactly
move less, so it hurts more. And
that's exactly it.
Well, we're about to head into our break, and when we come back from our break, I think we should talk a little bit about the new gym warriors, because after the holidays, all these people get this great idea that they're going to go to the gym, work out as if they've played professional sports for 20 years, and then they hurt themselves, which then leads them back to the sedentary lifestyle.
With an injury on top.
Exactly, exactly. So if you could, for just one brief moment, tell us where to find you. What's your website address?
So you can find us on www.joinhonest.com or at 703-230-5555.
Perfect, thanks. We'll be right back after our break.
Saving for retirement might be easy for some folk, but for others, it might take a little more work. And for those who haven't started, there are still things you can do to catch up.
Oh, that is good news.
Like getting out from underneath past debt. And don't get wrapped up with high-interest credit cards.
Get you some eyes.
Be diversified with your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Your financial goals are not out of reach. The choice is clear. For a happy ending, choose to save.
Everyone with alcohol and drug addiction is in the same boat. With treatment, you can find solid ground. For drug and alcohol information and treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Your Need to Know. I'm your host, Jodi Lyons, and once again here with Lucas Braga, and you are with Honest Weight Loss. So could you quickly tell us your email address or your website, whichever you prefer?
So you can find us at www.joinhonest.com, or you can call us at 703-230-5555.
Perfect. So before the break, we were talking a little bit about post-holiday season, how we end up with gym warriors who have never been to a gym before. And they decide they're going to lose weight immediately and hurt themselves. Then that leads us back to people who are having trouble exercising because they've hurt themselves.
Right.
So Could you tell us a little bit more about the gentle things you start with somebody who's not actually exercising,
right?
So, totally sedentary lifestyle?
Okay, so basically what we do is we employ a team of restorative fitness professionals.
Okay.
And these restorative fitness professionals, their goal is not to have you drop 10 pounds in a week or to have you drenched in sweat by the end of it. Their goal is really to improve your mobility in a painless way,
okay,
in a way that's going to help you move around your daily routine with a lot more ease and, again, with less pain and less stress
okay,
on your joints and ligaments. So, for instance, we employ a couple of exercise physiologists who create programs that are specifically designed for the limitations that our patients may have. And again, we were talking about the physical activity piece of it. So a lot of times our patients used to play a sport when they were younger, or maybe there's things that they enjoy doing, like walking their dogs or jogging. But given their current situation, they might not be able to do that as easily. So we create a comprehensive plan that's made up of several short-term goals and several long-term goals to ease them back to that. And a perfect example is we've had a patient who wanted to run a 5K, but she had trouble walking her dogs daily. So what we did is we would literally walk with her, and while doing that, start to incorporate little things like maybe jog from here to there and then walk a little, but very, very gradual and at a pace that's comfortable for the patient and at a pace that's safe for them, that they won't hurt themselves.
Right.
doing.
So Lucas, you've raised a great point. It is, we don't start from doing nothing to eating nothing but carrot sticks and then running a marathon.
Right, exactly.
So it's gradual, and it's so far we've covered the exercise, the food. Now the hard one, as if those two aren't hard enough, okay? Family support. What do you do when it's a dysfunctional family, or that there isn't, even if they're not entirely dysfunctional, that there is no family support? How do you protect the person who's trying to improve their health?
And it comes in two ways. The first, well, talking about the patient who does have a family who may not be as supportive, the first way is to really empower them to understand that this is their journey and that family support would be great, but that we also are there to support them and they have a whole team behind them providing the support. The second part is a little more idealized, I suppose, which is where we actually get together with our behavioral health educators will get together with the family and really talk to them about ways in which they can help the patient continue to make progress and try to identify which ways that they might think that they could interfere with that progress, but that can be a little bit harder
I'm sure it's tough, kind of
yeah.
like an intervention. There's always part of the family involved.
Exactly, and a lot of times there's enablers as well. We go in. That's the beauty of going into the home, is that we're able to identify who is doing the grocery shopping, who is doing the cooking, and our registered dietitians actually go to the grocery store with the patients. They will do an hour visit at the grocery store and just discuss foods that they typically get, foods that they enjoy to eat, and then discuss some healthy alternatives that could work for them.
So teaching people how to shop.
Exactly,
and
but
read
more
labels.
than that, that's definitely a starting point, but it's more than just how to shop. Again, it goes back to us not telling them what to do. We are asking them what they would normally get, and then try to incorporate some healthy alternatives into those choices.
That makes sense. So it's not a punishment, it's a lifestyle change.
Exactly, and again, it's very gradual. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? If we spent 20, 30, 40 years developing these patterns of behaviors, it's honest won't change that in 2-3 weeks. But in a couple of months, you start to see how these changes become really internalized and they become part of your lifestyle, and you almost forget what it used to be like before you made these modifications to your life.
So this is really a long-term program. This is not the somebody wants to lose 5 pounds after the holiday. This is lifestyle management. How long would you say an average patient is with you?
So our patients typically, once they start the program, they'll stay with us long term, between 6 and 12 months. We recommend at least 12 weeks because, again, we're talking about behavior modifications. We're talking about things that we've spent our entire lives developing, right? It takes a little bit of repetition to kind of really be comfortable with it. So 3 months.
New habits, yeah.
Exactly. And again, dealing with the family dynamic. There's a lot of moving parts that are kind of in play at the same time. So 3 months would really be kind of the minimum that we recommend.
Okay.
But the vast majority of our patients will stay on for at least 6 or 8 months. And all the programs are entirely customizable. So as every 4 weeks, you can add and take away services that you're getting. You can add certain types of professionals. So as you evolve through the program, you can also start to gear the program towards your own needs. A lot of people have nutritional knowledge that they would like to get from the dietitians. So in that case, they focus more with the dietitian. They may see the dietitian every week or so. A lot of people would rather have the behavior piece focused on. So then they start with the dietitian, the behavior therapist, and slowly it becomes more of a once every couple of weeks meeting with the behavior educator.
So checking in and support continuing along the way.
Yeah.
So again, it's not a quick fix. It's not a take a pill, or as I joke about, you can't take the weight loss pill, stick it in the donut, and expect it to work.
That's exactly it, and that's the perfect thing, because you're addressing the behavior, right?
Okay.
Everyone likes donuts, and everyone should be able to eat a donut here and there. That one donut has never killed anybody. Our thing is teaching that balance that goes behind being able to eat a donut, not 6 or 12 donuts, and also not eating a donut every day. Maybe once or twice a week. Maybe you have it planned into your diet plan that you've designed with your dietitian. But everyone's plan is completely different. So there is that flexibility, but at the same time, they will meet you where you're at and design a plan that's unique to you.
That makes sense. And let's spend a couple minutes talking about some of the medical stuff, because one of the things that I have found is a lot of diets don't take into account lifestyle management.
Right.
They don't take into account diseases like diabetes or metabolic syndrome or anything like that.
Hypertension.
Hypertension, exactly. So you start out with medical.
Right.
Where does the medical supervision continue? How does that fit into the overall plan?
So it actually works from 2 different angles, from our side and also from their physician's side. So what happens is, like I talked about, we do a full assessment before we start. And our medical director is overseeing every single one of our patients. So the clinical teams that are working with the patient are constantly relaying this information back to him for him to kind of look over.
So constant medical supervision.
Constant, but it goes beyond that. We're also drawing their blood and doing labs and making sure that things like their hemoglobin A1Cs, their LDLs, the bad cholesterol, right? We're monitoring all of those, because a lot of times when you start to see improvements in their diet and the weight starts to come off almost as a byproduct of these diet modifications.
Right.
The need for medication will also change. So you need to regulate that, and that's where their physician comes in as well. Every 4 weeks, we submit what's called a care summary to their referring physician, so that they know exactly what's going on with their patient and that they're able to give us feedback. But in addition to all of that, they're also able to see how maybe they need to adjust their medication, especially in terms of diabetes, how many IUs of insulin are they taking, and hypertension as well. As the weight starts to come down and as the blood glucose starts to go down, the blood pressure will go down as well. So then if they continue at the same dose of their hypertension, exactly, or they'll just become hypotensive instead. So it goes from both angles. It's kind of the answer to that question.
So now here's the really tough question. We've already established this isn't for somebody who wants to lose 5 pounds after eating too many cookies at the holidays. Is there anybody you can't help? Like, is there anybody that's just too far gone?
Absolutely not.
So nobody should be giving up?
No, and that's actually a lot of what we deal with. A lot of the patients that reach out to us, they have tried all kinds of things, Jodi. They've tried the commercial plans, they've tried the prescriptions, they've tried their own plans that they might see on TV or on the internet or something.
Dr. Internet again,
There you go, Google, right? So they are hopeless a lot of the time, and who can blame them, right? You've spent all this money, all this time, all this energy, and even when you do lose the weight, 95% of them regain it all back and more within a year. That's cold hard research. We know this. So how could they not be a little bit, lacking motivation?
Right.
So for us, it's really a matter of showing them how we can help them, how we can add something that's different than what they've experienced before, that paradigm that they've been presented before of how to lose weight. The biggest part is the in-home piece, where we come to them in an environment that's completely safe and discreet to them. The second part is also the in-home part, that being in home, we can assess their environment and help them put together the pieces that really create a safety net of support for them. and then having that team aspect behind them. Very few people have actually tried to lose weight with a support system before. A lot of times we feel like these are journeys we have to go on our own.
Right.
We feel that obesity is a character flaw, but it's not. It's a medical condition, and you need medical help to get better. And you need an integrative approach like what Honest does to get better.
See, that sounds wonderful. And I think it's really important, and I'm glad you're here to clarify this. Because I think as we are all, as I said before, inundated with the ads for lose weight fast and things I can't pronounce showing up on Facebook and Twitter and everything else, there is a real approach. Nobody's too far gone.
No.
It's lifestyle management, medical, exercise, and food, not just a quick diet.
Right.
Could you tell us your website once again so people can find you?
So our website is www.joinhonest.com, or you can also call us at 703-230-5555.
Great, and it's join, J-O-I-N, honest.
Honest, HONEST.com. Yeah.
Great, I'm really glad you're here. The
Thank
timing
you.
is perfect, and it is nice to know there is a way to get rid of those extra pounds.
There is hope.
Yeah, there is hope, and I think that's very important. I also really like that you guys go into the house. I think that is super.
It's an incredible opportunity being able to assess their environments. Like
yes,
that.
absolutely. Nobody's alone, and it's not too late. So
Exactly.
I think that's terrific. And for those of you who would like to find me, I'm at Senior Sherpa, www.senior-sherpa.com. And of course, it would not be our need to know, your need to know, without my putting in a plug for the Alzheimer's Association, particularly the chapter in the National Capital Area. So our website is www.alz.org. If you'd like to see support in your own region, add a /NCA after that. www.alz.org/NCA. And again, Lucas, I'm so glad you're here. And your website, let's see if I got it right, joinhonest.com.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. There is hope for everybody who is trying to do penance after the holiday season.
Thank you, Jodi.
One too many cookies.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that. And as always, thank you to Ben Zuhl, our producer, and people here at the Fairfax County Public Access. Thanks again for joining us for Your Need to Know.